So I've always wanted to know how much power my 240 made when I had a dual cam K in it, when I had a boosted dual cam K in it, and even when I had the VQ in it. And I've never dynoed it, never really cared enough to get it dynoed because like wasn't getting like a dyno tune. It just kind of seemed like a waste of money to tell me like an arbitrary number that like isn't really going to change anything. But I don't know. Today I finally decided to call up the dyno that's not too far away from me, and they said they do a couple runs for not too much. So I'm gonna go ahead, bring the car down there, and see how much power it makes. So the 240 has a VQ from a 2003 G35 trans from a 2003 G35. Had about 130,000 miles on it when I pulled the motor out. I think it made, like, the VQ35s made like 280 stock, something like that at the crank. I think I'm gonna put down a solid 200 wheel. I think that's like probably where it's gonna end up. Hoping for a little more, but I think realistically 200 wheel is probably what it will make. It has an intake plenum spacer and then an exhaust. It's 2.5 off, I think 2.5 or 2 inch off of each. I think it's 2.5 inch off of each header, down to a Y pipe, and then like a 3 inch all the way to the back. So we'll see what it does. It's got a hot air intake in the engine bay, so I'm gonna head down there and see how it does. So looking at this number, it does look pretty atrocious relative to what you'd see a stock 350Z make, which I think is like 280, 290 horsepower. But just remembering that is a crank horsepower number. This was a wheel horsepower number. This was also on a Mustang dyno, which notoriously reads lower than another dyno you'd see, like a Dyno Jet or something. But further in that way, a stock 350Z also makes from like 190 to 200 horsepower at the wheels on a Mustang dyno. So it kind of still does beg the question why my car made 150 wheel horsepower on the Mustang dyno. I don't know if it was a function of gearing. I was told that shouldn't really matter on this sort of dyno. But it was done in 4th gear in my car, which is extremely short. I think he said rev limiter in 4th was like 87 or 88 miles an hour or something like that. So the gearing is definitely short. I don't know if that would really make a difference. I don't know if it was a function of how the dyno was used. I think they're pretty experienced where I went. I think they know how to use their dyno. I think that it could also be explained by maybe the car heat soaking. I don't know if it would be heat soaking that degree. It would take away like 25% of the horsepower. Could be. And also, it's possible that there's something wrong with the car. I don't know if it was bad compression. I don't know if the timing's getting messed up. I don't know if it's heat soaking and that's causing time. I'm not really sure. This should be like just a stock tune. I don't think there's nothing especially done to it. The only thing that's done to the ECU is the immobilizer was deleted. It's got an exhaust system, like, and not really a significant, just like a straight pipe with a muffler, which I don't think, it's probably less restrictive than a stock exhaust. So I don't really know if I'm losing power at the top end there. That wouldn't really make sense. I don't really know. I think there are a lot of reasons why the car could have read numbers like that. I'm definitely interested if you guys have any more knowledge and you want to share that with me. I'd be really curious what you guys think, why you guys think it made power like 150 horsepower, 170 torque. And that also is, I think, probably the thing I actually find the most interesting is that a stock 350Z makes like 287 horsepower. Torque, I think, like maybe 10 foot-pounds less, maybe 15 less. but my car actually made 150 wheel horsepower and like 170 foot-pounds of torque, so it actually read a good bit more torque than horsepower. And especially being at these lower numbers, it's definitely a higher fraction more torque than horsepower compared to what a stock one would do. I don't know if that's a function of the gearing or something else. I'd definitely be interested if you guys have more experience with cars on dynos, like what could explain this. I definitely am just hoping it's not something that's actually wrong with the car, because I don't really want to mess with it, and it seems like it's working pretty fine now. It definitely doesn't feel down on power, but then again, I don't really have anything to compare it to besides this car, or I guess it was in a G35 and I drove that a couple of times, but I don't really remember what that was like. I couldn't really compare them. But yeah, if you guys have any more thoughts, of course, let me know. I'm really curious to why I saw these numbers. I definitely would be interested in going to like a different type of dyno and getting some numbers there just to compare them, to see if like they like back each other up, because you can do like a calculation to get from like a Mustang dyno to like a dyno jet. Probably, I think like a dyno jet will make like 12 to 15% more horsepower, and then I don't know, just comparing them to see if they back each other up. I think that's definitely the next thing I would do. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, of course, let me know. I'll definitely be drifting a lot soon. I'm really excited for that. The car seems pretty dialed in. I've been working on the car a lot, just like small things here and there. I replaced the tie rod, moved some stuff around with the fuel filter so it wasn't gonna be like in the way of anything. It was a little more solid so it wouldn't like rattle itself loose. I fixed up some of the wiring so it won't rattle around as much. I one time had an issue with like a ground popping off, and then like the wiring was like, all my gauges like decided to turn off, which wasn't ideal. Because that also turned my fans off, because the switch for the fans is up here. But yeah, we got, I think, most of that stuff sorted out, so I'm definitely really excited to focus on driving some more. Last drift event I went to was definitely the most improvement I've ever had, and I'm really excited to drive more with a car that's hopefully reliable, but we'll see about that. Yeah, hopefully there'll be a lot more videos soon, so of course, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at GeorgeGoesDrifting. Maybe in the near future we'll be able to get to another dyno, see what kind of power we make there, and I will see you guys in the next one.